Across the Fence, real-life learning in UVM's Food Systems Internship program. We're going to learn about the program, its benefits to students, and to Vermont businesses and organizations involved with food. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. The UVM Food Systems Internship program is only a year old, but it's already seeing strong participation from both UVM students and internship host sites across the state. To find out more, I'm joined by the coordinator of the Food Systems Internship program, Matt Myers of UVM Extension. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's great.
Let's start out talking about the program and how it's going so far.
Okay, sure. We started this program as part of a broader initiative at the university to really increase the amount of opportunities that students have to have like hands-on learning and experiential learning. We work with host sites from across the state in a variety of ranges, but it's really just about making sure that students can take the learning that they have in the classroom and then apply it in a real-life situation in our communities. And it's all about hands-on learning.
Which is really important because a lot of times when you say internship, you know, you're thinking, I've got to go get coffee for people and lunches and so forth. But this is really important to this program, is to have the kids working.
That's right. It really needs to be a meaningful opportunity for the student that aligns with their learning goals, and then it needs to be a meaningful contribution to the host site, or it's not going to work unless those two pieces are in place.
So what areas of the food systems have you been placing students?
Well, we place students in really for-profit, nonprofit, and government agencies. So, for example, with the for-profit businesses, it might be a farm, it might be an online CSA like Farmers to You. It could be vitality vending, Vermont edible landscapes. There's a real range across, and then also for the nonprofit organizations, we've placed with the Vermont Dairy Association, the NOFA Vermont, Vermont Community Garden Association. So there's a range of nonprofits as well, and then also government agencies. We have students doing research on water quality with the Agency of Natural Resources and the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food and Market. So it's really students are likely to be doing either hands-on agricultural production or they'll be doing social media marketing with a nonprofit or a government agent. They might be doing research in the field and bringing that learning back to the university. So it's really exciting to see these students so bright and going out there, and then to see the host site so happy to have gotten the help.
And so what kind of majors are we talking about that students who are interested in this?
Well, I like to say that we've placed students from 18 different majors in 80 different internships in the first year. So it's really been a robust process. An example is we placed a philosophy student. So you wonder, like, what are you going to do with philosophy? Right? Think about it. But no, really, they have analytical ability. So there's a vitality vending machines. They needed someone who could analyze consumer data usage and to produce good, well thought out reports, so that we get a philosophy student doing that, or nutrition and food sciences major teaching about nutrition in schools, or environmental studies doing work to conserve the bobolink bird in the farm field. So it's really a broad range.
So the students surprised that they have these kinds of applications for their major? I mean, I would never have guessed that.
I think so. They often come in just eager to get an opportunity to work in the real world, and when I talk with them, often they've already done, had some really good experience and have some great coursework, and they're really prepared, but they don't always see, like, what is the link to an English major? Well, an English major, then you can really get a good work doing public communications. It's really, it does help them sort of see what the potential careers they could do.
So what do the host sites and the students get out of this internship work eventually?
Well, I think, the students often they don't really have a clear sense of where they want to go with their career. So it's really important for them to try things out. So they gain a clear perspective of what they want to do. They gain valuable skills. They network. They learn about who is in the field and get to work with them. And then the host sites hopefully get a meaningful contribution to their work. They have an opportunity to mentor a young person and to really help them get started in a career.
And food systems, I mean, so much is changing so quickly. It's almost like anything you could think of could actually happen.
Is there something not related to food systems?
Well, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah. It's really a broad range, and so oftentimes people in host site will say, "Well, that's not really food systems," but I'm thinking, well, actually, the environment and food systems are very, connected, and if you don't have a clean environment, it's going to be hard to grow healthy food.
Exactly. So, interested host sites and students, how can they contact you?
They can contact me by email. You'll see on the screen matthewmyers.myers@uvm.edu, or they can contact me by phone, and I'm really happy to come and talk with them and help them explore what are the possibilities for an intern with them.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Well, Matt talked about students and host sites, so now we're going to meet one of the UVM interns and the state agency that served as her host site. Allison Carrier is the student, and she's been getting an education in some public policy and communication through her internship with the Vermont Department of Agriculture, Food and Markets. Allison is going to tell us about her internship experiences, and we're also going to hear from one of her mentors at the local foods administrator from the Agency of Agriculture. So I want to welcome Allison and Abby Willard. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, Judy. Thank you.
Allison, tell me a little bit about how you got involved in this internship program.
I first got involved in this because I received an email from Matt listing of the food systems internship opportunities, and I went on the Catamount job link, which is our UVM listing of jobs and internship opportunities, and reading the description, it really fit well and aligned with what I've been studying at UVM.
Mm-hmm. And what have you been studying?
I've been studying environmental studies, and I have a self-designed concentration in business, communications, and sustainability. So this was an opportunity to take what I've learned with my communications background and apply it into an environmental field, more specifically food systems.
And so you focused on two key projects, I understand, at the agency. Tell us what you've been working on.
Yeah, one of those projects we started this summer. It was a producer survey, and we reached out to 125 Vermont farmers and wanted to see what their interests were in serving to institutional and wholesale markets. So we sent out an email to them. I followed a dissemination plan and went through each of the phases in that, and was able to send these emails, read through the survey results, and extract the highlights. Sent a follow-up email to thank them and show them what the highlights were, and we're going to use these highlights and be able to apply them and see what the agency can do.
So what did you learn from the survey from the farmers?
One of the big takeaways that I had from that was the almost lack of capacity to be able to provide to institutional markets, even if the farmers want to. So trying to be able to create that partnership with food hubs or other farmers and being able to expand that market and make it more accessible.
Would you say that your internship has complemented your academic career?
It definitely has complemented my academic career. I've taken communications classes and marketing courses within the environmental field, but this was a way to have a hands-on approach to that and kind of see it in reality, taking what I've learned and putting it into something that's applicable.
And so let me bring in Abby Willard, who's the local foods administrator with the Agency of Agriculture, Food and Market. So what's the agency's experience been with this program?
Well, we're a small agency and very reliant upon enthusiastic and high productive people, and all staff count, and we actually treat our intern experiences as staff. So over the past 3 years, we've had 3 different interns working on communications and local food program development projects, and they bring great new ideas, they bring an enthusiasm for the work, and they remind us of the importance of telling our story. I think this agency is well known for doing great work in local food systems and community-based agriculture, and we often forget how important it is to tell the story at the end of the great project, and to have communication interns from UVM that have been a part of that has been really helpful and a great reminder that there's a lot to share, and we're really appreciative of the effort that they bring to the agency, and we treat them as much as a staff as anyone else.
I think it's important really to point out that these interns are doing real work.
They are. It's not just telling our stories and writing articles and sending emails. They are developing programs, and so they're part of the program development division of our agency, and they have independence, but with direction. And we love the opportunity to sort of mentor them and give them some of that real world experience and have them be part of a team and recognize what it's like to be a public servant and facilitating and directing change. But they have a lot of independence and a lot of autonomy. It's really exciting to sort of see them come in, and we've been lucky in the case of Allison where she stayed with us through the summer and then the fall semester. So to have the opportunity to work together for many months has been really great.
And that was important to you too, as far as what you've gotten from this experience, to have that length of time.
Yeah, I really think that internships can go by so quickly and you can just be starting to get involved with something and then it's over. So this opportunity to be here from June until December has really been helpful, and I've realized that transition.
And so how do you think this is going to help prepare you for your career?
Well, especially even in the months of working with the Agency of Agriculture, even beyond the scope of food systems or environmental studies or communications, I really think that being in a professional setting and being able to, I meet with Abby and Allie, my other supervisor, every week, and there's just a strong collaboration. I've had so many networking opportunities, and I've really learned more about the internal communications that go on within a business or the agency, and it's more than just that application of my schoolwork, but also just what you learn from being in that professional setting.
And so again, Abby, what's been the influence of internship participation on your local foods program at the agency?
I would say most importantly, we've been able to build some program capacity. We actually rely upon Allison as part of our team. She brings new ideas, whether it's around technology or communication strategies that are innovative that we may not have thought of. And the most important part, I think, for me is this recognition that the work that we do is really exciting. And to go to events and to meet with producers is really something that they're excited about participating in, and we get to be reminded that we're doing important work, we're building new programs, and we're a part of something that's really exciting. And food systems is as up and coming as anything could be, and how exciting that we get to have someone remind us how important it is and cutting edge, and we're excited to continue to do it. I'm sure we'll have interns into the future.
And so, Allison, tell me a little bit about how you've sort of discovered what food systems mean. I mean, I was talking to Matt earlier about, you think food systems and you think, the cafeteria.
Right, exactly. And I've realized that it goes much more beyond that than just the cafeteria or just the farmer. There are the food hubs, and there are consumers even that have a say in what's happening in the food system. And so being able to recognize all these stakeholders in the field has really expanded my knowledge on it overall.
And how's it been meeting all these people?
It's been great. We've gone to different site visits, and that's where the networking comes into play. I think Vermont's a relatively small state, so I've seen a lot of the same people in different events, and so it's been really neat to realize how that network comes into play when it comes to having these projects executed.
So you're a senior.
Yeah.
Any idea what you want to do when you graduate?
That's the big question that we were talking about before too, but I'm open to and flexible, because I know that I should be, as far as what type of job that I jump into after college and where I end up. So I'm really open, but I definitely want to stay in the environmental field and hopefully continue down the track of food systems work.
So what do you think you've learned from your internship that you didn't know before that is now sort of a new skill that you can market yourself with?
Oh, let's see. Well, from the professional standpoint, I'd say being able to work with a group of people regularly on projects. From the environmental standpoint, I think having this knowledge on food systems work, but the behind the scenes, and really being able to collaborate with multiple stakeholders who all have different priorities, and to be able to address each of those needs and look at the bigger picture.
And what would you say to other agencies maybe that might be thinking about an intern?
It's a refreshing opportunity. Take advantage of the ability to have a new member of your team come in and sort of bring what they're working on, their academics, to your organization. And we would continue to do it, as I said before. It's something that's a pretty critical part of our team going forward, and I think others will have a similarly really exciting opportunity.
Well, I want to thank you both for being with us today. A final reminder about the information on the internship program. You can call Coordinator Matthew Myers at 802-656-0304 or send him an email. His address is matthew.myers@uvm.edu. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.